I think his nails are too long. Yeah, there are movements.